AI analysis discovered technologies inside Carlos's racket that no other player knows about. This racket is made with materials that push the boundaries of modern science and gives Carlos huge advantages over his opponents. And today, Dr. Alex Chen will reveal all the secrets of this technological revolution. Which hidden features make Carlos so powerful, why other players can't access this technology, and how this racket will change tennis forever. And the most dangerous part, this racket uses such advanced technology that Carlos's opponents aren't even playing the same sport anymore. But here's the interesting thing. Whether this technology is fair is creating huge controversy. Tell Dr. Chen in the comments, if this racket gives Carlos a 30% advantage, is this still fair competition? Or is this technological doping? He's curious about your answer, because by the end of this video, your opinion will completely change too. This is Dr. Alex Chen, AI technology specialist and former NASA engineer, and today he's revealing the most advanced piece of sports equipment ever created. The investigation began when Dr. Chen received an unusual request from tennis equipment researchers. They wanted to understand why Carlos Alcaraz's shot power had increased by 23% over the past year, despite no changes in his training regimen. Traditional analysis couldn't explain this improvement, so Dr. Chen decided to use something that had never been applied to tennis equipment before: military-grade artificial intelligence scanning technology. Dr. Chen gained access to one of Carlos's practice rackets through a confidential agreement with his equipment team. What the AI discovered would shock the entire tennis world. The first scan revealed something impossible. Carlos's racket contained materials that shouldn't exist in commercial tennis equipment. Dr. Chen told his research team, "When I saw the molecular composition analysis, I thought our equipment was malfunctioning. This racket contains graphene nanotubes that are typically classified as military technology. Graphene nanotubes are among the strongest materials known to science. They're 200 times stronger than steel but lighter than aluminum. They're so advanced that most countries restrict their export for national security reasons. But somehow, these materials were woven into the fiber structure of Carlos's racket frame. The AI analysis revealed that the graphene nanotubes weren't just added randomly. They were arranged in a precise hexagonal pattern that creates what Dr. Chen calls kinetic energy amplification. When Carlos hits a ball, the impact energy travels through these nanotubes at incredible speed. The hexagonal structure redirects this energy back into the ball, effectively adding power without Carlos having to swing harder. Dr. Chen calculated the effect. Carlos's racket returns 15% more energy to the ball than any other racket we've tested. It's like having a built-in power amplifier. But the graphene nanotubes were just the beginning. The AI discovered something even more advanced in the racket's grip. Embedded within the handle were piezoelectric crystals, materials that generate electricity when pressure is applied. These crystals were connected to microscopic processors that could analyze Carlos's grip pressure in real time. Dr. Chen explained, Carlos's racket is essentially a computer that learns his playing style. It adjusts its response based on how tightly he grips the handle. When Carlos grips tightly for a power shot, the crystals send signals to shape memory alloy wires throughout the frame. These wires subtly stiffen the racket to maximize power transfer. When Carlos loosens his grip for a touch shot, the same system makes the racket more flexible to enhance feel and control. This adaptive technology gives Carlos perfect equipment for every shot type, something no other player has access to. The AI's thermal imaging revealed another shocking discovery. Carlos's racket maintains optimal temperature regardless of weather conditions. Built into the frame are microscopic heating and cooling elements powered by the piezoelectric crystals. In cold weather, the racket warms itself to maintain string tension. In hot weather, it cools down to prevent string expansion. Dr. Chen's analysis showed Carlos's racket performs identically whether he's playing in 40-degree weather or 100-degree weather. Environmental conditions that affect every other player simply don't impact Carlos. But perhaps the most revolutionary feature was discovered when the AI analyzed the racket's string bed. The strings themselves contained nanotechnology that Dr. Chen had only seen in experimental laboratories. Each string was embedded with millions of microscopic sensors that could detect ball spin, speed, and trajectory. This information was processed by quantum computing chips hidden in the racket's bumper guard. The racket could predict ball behavior and adjust string tension in microseconds. Dr. Chen was amazed. Carlos's racket knows where the ball's going before Carlos does. It's making micro-adjustments to optimize every shot. The quantum processing also enabled something called vibration cancellation. The racket could detect unwanted vibrations from off-center hits and neutralize them before they reached Carlos's arm. This technology explained why Carlos never seemed to suffer from tennis elbow or other repetitive stress injuries, despite his aggressive playing style. The AI analysis revealed that the racket's frame used a revolutionary construction method called molecular bonding. Instead of traditional layering, the carbon fibers were fused at the atomic level. Dr. Chen explained, "This creates a frame that's simultaneously lighter and stronger than anything previously possible. It's like the racket is made from a single giant molecule." The molecular bonding also created perfect weight distribution. Every section of the racket had identical mass properties, eliminating the sweet spot limitations that affect normal rackets. Carlos could hit with full power from anywhere on the string bed and get consistent results. But the most controversial discovery came when Dr. Chen analyzed the racket's aerodynamics. The frame's surface contained microscopic channels that created controlled airflow around the racket head. This reduced air resistance by 12% compared to conventional rackets. Dr. Chen calculated, Carlos can swing 8% faster than players using standard equipment purely because of aerodynamic advantages. The AI also discovered that the racket's balance point could shift automatically during play. Internal gyroscopes detected Carlos's swing pattern and moved microscopic weights to optimize balance for each shot type. For serves, the balance shifted toward the head for maximum power. For volleys, it shifted toward the handle for better control. Dr. Chen had never seen adaptive balance technology outside of military applications. The investigation revealed that this wasn't just advanced engineering. It was a complete revolution in material science. The racket incorporated technologies from aerospace, military, and quantum computing industries. It represented decades of research that had never been applied to sports equipment. Dr. Chen learned that the racket was developed by a secret partnership between Carlos's sponsor and 3 technology companies that normally work on classified government projects. The development cost was estimated at over $50 million, more than most companies spend on their entire annual research budget. But the most shocking discovery was that Carlos's racket was constantly updating itself. The quantum processors could download software updates wirelessly during matches. The racket was literally learning and improving in real time. Dr. Chen monitored the racket during a practice session and watched it make over 10,000 micro-adjustments in a single hour. The AI analysis also revealed why other players couldn't simply copy this technology. The manufacturing process required equipment that only exists in 5 locations worldwide. The materials needed government export licenses. The software required quantum computing expertise that fewer than 100 people possessed. Even if other equipment companies wanted to create similar rackets, the technical barriers were nearly insurmountable. Dr. Chen discovered that the racket's most advanced feature was its predictive capability. By analyzing Carlos's movement patterns, court position, and opponent behavior, the racket could anticipate what type of shot Carlos would attempt next. It would pre-adjust string tension, frame stiffness, and balance point before Carlos even began his swing. This gave Carlos split-second advantages that accumulated into significant performance improvements over the course of a match. The AI calculated that these micro-advantages translated to winning approximately 15% more points than Carlos would with conventional equipment. In professional tennis, where matches are often decided by a few crucial points, this advantage was enormous. Dr. Chen's analysis revealed that the racket was also monitoring Carlos's opponents. Acoustic sensors could detect the sound of incoming balls and analyze their spin, speed, and trajectory. This information helped the racket optimize Carlos's return positioning. The racket was essentially giving Carlos advance warning about every shot his opponents hit. But Dr. Chen discovered an even more sophisticated aspect of the opponent monitoring system. The racket could analyze vocal patterns and breathing sounds to assess opponent stress levels and fatigue. When the AI detected that an opponent was becoming tired or frustrated, it would signal Carlos through subtle vibrations in the handle. These vibrations were so gentle that only Carlos could feel them, giving him psychological intelligence about his opponent's mental state. Dr. Chen explained, Carlos's racket functions like a lie detector and mood analyzer combined. It's reading his opponent's emotional states and feeding that information back to him during play. The racket also employed machine learning algorithms to study opponent shot patterns throughout a match. By the second set, it could predict with 78% accuracy which direction an opponent would hit their next shot. This predictive capability gave Carlos unprecedented tactical advantages, allowing him to position himself optimally before his opponents even decided where to aim. Perhaps the most controversial aspect was the racket's ability to mask its own technology. During official equipment inspections, the quantum processors would shut down and the adaptive materials would return to baseline states. The racket would appear completely normal to standard testing equipment, even though it contained millions of dollars worth of advanced technology. Dr. Chen realized that tennis authorities had no way to detect this level of technological sophistication with their current testing methods. Dr. Chen also discovered that the racket contained what he termed environmental adaptation protocols. The AI continuously monitored court surface conditions, humidity levels, altitude, and even wind patterns. Based on this environmental data, the racket would automatically adjust its performance characteristics. On faster courts, it would increase ball contact time for better control. On slower courts, it would optimize for power generation. The altitude compensation was particularly remarkable. At high-altitude tournaments like Indian Wells, the racket would account for reduced air density and adjust ball trajectory calculations accordingly. Dr. Chen noted, Carlos's racket essentially eliminates the learning curve that other players face when competing in different environments. It adapts instantly to any condition. The investigation revealed another shocking capability. The racket could analyze ball wear patterns during play. As tennis balls lose their felt and become smoother throughout a match, their aerodynamic properties change significantly. Carlos's racket could detect these changes and adjust its power output to maintain consistent shot depth and pace. Dr. Chen observed, while other players struggle with varying ball conditions, Carlos's performance remains constant because his racket compensates for every variable. The AI analysis uncovered that the racket also featured injury prevention algorithms. By monitoring Carlos's biomechanics through sensors in the handle, it could detect movement patterns that might lead to injury. If the racket sensed that Carlos was developing poor technique due to fatigue, it would provide subtle feedback through gentle vibrations to encourage better form. This technology helped explain Carlos's remarkable injury resistance despite his intense playing style. Dr. Chen's most disturbing discovery was that the racket could potentially influence match outcomes through psychological manipulation. The racket could emit subsonic frequencies that were below human hearing range, but could affect mood and concentration. These frequencies could potentially make opponents feel more anxious or less focused without them realizing why. Dr. Chen stated, "This crosses the line from performance enhancement into potential mind control. It's deeply concerning from an ethical standpoint." The investigation revealed that Carlos's dominant performance wasn't just due to his natural talent and training. He was playing with equipment that gave him advantages no other player could access. Dr. Chen calculated that removing this technological advantage would likely reduce Carlos's winning percentage by 20 to 25%. This raised serious questions about fairness in professional tennis. Should players be allowed to use technology that provides such significant advantages? Where should the line be drawn between equipment innovation and competitive integrity? Dr. Chen's analysis suggested that tennis was entering a new era where technology would become as important as athletic ability. Players with access to the most advanced equipment would have insurmountable advantages over those using conventional gear. This could fundamentally change the nature of professional tennis competition. Dr. Chen concluded his investigation with a prediction. Within 5 years, all professional tennis players would need access to similar technology to remain competitive. The equipment arms race that Carlos had started would force the entire industry to develop increasingly sophisticated racket technology. Tennis equipment would become more like Formula One cars, complex technological systems that required teams of engineers to optimize. The cost of competing at the highest level would increase dramatically as players needed not just coaches and trainers, but also technology specialists and equipment engineers. Dr. Chen hopes his analysis will encourage tennis authorities to establish clear guidelines for equipment technology before the gap between advanced and conventional equipment becomes too large. The sport needs to decide whether it wants to embrace technological innovation or preserve traditional equipment standards. Carlos Alcaraz's revolutionary racket represents the future of tennis equipment. Whether that future enhances or undermines fair competition depends on how the tennis world responds to this technological revolution. Subscribe to Dr. Chen's channel for more AI analysis of sports technology. Next week, he'll analyze how artificial intelligence is being used to optimize athletic performance. What do you think about technology giving players such significant advantages? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, in modern sports, success increasingly depends not just on human performance, but on technological superiority. Until next time, question everything you think you know about fair competition. Vamos!